It's 6:23. As you wake up this morning, you're listening to Emma Britton on BBC Radio Bristol with an EU Referendum result special. Turnout was high, the vote was, but the United Kingdom has voted to leave the European Union. Ernie Warrender is a business owner from Western Cast Iron Lever. How are you feeling this morning?
Yeah, fairly happy. Fairly happy. Absolutely, yeah, over the moon. We've been campaigning for this for donkey's years, really. As a businessman, I actually wrote to my company, not saying vote leave or even remain, just saying to them, our company will be fine. I attached letters from our bank, I attached letters from Olivetti, an Italian European company, and the letter from Olivetti basically said it won't make any difference. We are their largest European dealer. It won't make any difference. In fact, they said all of our manufacturing is done outside the EU now.
Not all employers would have gone that far to make sure that their staff were informed. Do you think that made a difference?
I don't know. I mean, I guess they're not daft. They know my personal feelings, but I think it is wrong was wrong for business owners to inflict their personal opinion on people. I just wanted my staff to know that we're fine, we're okay, and the country, to a greater extent, will be fine.
There are people, though, this morning who are, for want of a better word, frightened and panicking. And I'm not exaggerating here. Anne in Longwell Green says, what a disaster for this country. And I've had people saying that they're terrified, that they're anxious, that they're in shock. What would you say to them?
The thing is that they're really strong words, and people were very passionate about this, Emma, and it is 40 minutes after this result was finalised. You said a great thing about social media. People go, oh, and they go straight on it and vent their
spleen.
Their spleen, indeed. And basically, now is a time to sit down, reflect, roll our sleeves up. There's a great phrase from Churchill, isn't there? You know, this is not the end. It's not even the beginning but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. And now perhaps we can all roll our sleeves up and look to the future, because I listened to some of your earlier guests and I was out campaigning, banging on doors, annoying people right, left and centre. And it was a reasonably decent campaign. There were some horrible things said at the top end, but people on the street, they got involved in this big time, and maybe now they'll get involved with our general elections.
Well, let's see if you can put Anne in Longwell Green's mind at rest, because she thinks this is a disaster for the country. Morning, Anne.
Hello.
What are you worried about?
I'm worried about the future. I'm worried. I just think it's companies, small companies, large companies are going to suffer. I'm just worried about the future, really, and I just think it's quite worrying that and it's not even really a majority. It's a huge majority.
But that's democracy, isn't it? It has to, there is no grey area. It's whoever gets the most. So we have to. That is the country and the way we live our lives. But I'm trying to work out what you're most worried about. Is it the unknown, Anne? Do you think?
I think it probably is the unknown, but I just think it's a retrograde step. I think we're going backwards. I think, we joined the European Union however many years ago it was, and I think nothing is perfect. But I think, working together is much, much better than dividing from Europe.
Ernie, can you say anything to Anne to put her mind at rest, seeing as you were so passionate about leaving?
Yeah, I will. First of all, we didn't join the European Union. We joined the Common Market, which I actually personally think was a pretty good idea. That was a good idea.
Yeah, I quite agree with that, actually. I voted for the European Common Market, and I know we have got, things have been added on since. But
well, you sound a lot younger than I am. I remember saying to my dad...
So you're being a charmer now. He's being a charmer, Anne. Don't fall for it.
No, I remember saying to my dad, who served in the war with the Royal Australian Air Force, I said, Dad, we're going to turn our backs on all the Commonwealth. And he looked at me, shrugged his shoulders and went, well, And I thought, OK, fair enough. Common Market makes sense. Now, we're the fifth biggest company. We've just rocketed past France, who are in economic disaster. We're a great, great country, and don't worry, we will make a go of this, because everyone in Britain's going to roll their sleeves up and work together now.
Does that help at all?
Well, I hope you are right. I really, genuinely hope you're right, because, well, we just have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, and I'm assuming, from what you're saying this morning, that you did go out and voted to remain, yeah?
Oh yes, absolutely, yes.
And had you always been on that side of the debate, or had you flip-flopped at all?
I'd always been on that side of the debate, but I was willing to listen to the other side. But because there didn't seem to be a plan as to what the outers wanted, then it was a bit, I don't know, I was definitely more in than out.
Anne, thank you for your time this morning. Anne from Longwell Green there. Ernie Warrender is with me, a businessman from Weston-super-Mare. What about the time it's going to take, Ernie, to negotiate our departure from the European Union? I mean, I think that some people who voted to leave probably won't be aware of that. They think that come Monday, we're all going to roll up the drawbridge and we're all going to be fine. We're going to have all this money that we had been spending on the EU, that we can now build every hospital we want, and there'll be no deficit. It doesn't work like that.
Oh, doesn't it?
No, Ernie, it doesn't.
Oh,
you
okay.
know that.
Of course it doesn't. To be honest, what's going to happen is, people will go down to Sainsbury's, they will buy a bottle of French wine this morning, or Tesco, sorry, must mention them all. They'll buy, whatever from Europe. It won't all stop. This will take quite a while to work out a sensible trading arrangement with the EU, and you start to listen to some of the, shall I say, business leaders, people like the head of the German Chambers of Commerce, who say, look, we're not going to turn our back on you. We are their biggest customer by a metric mile. There will be very little change. I mean, anyone who remembers Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister will know what the civil service will do. They'll grind through it in their own sweet time. But it is not a decision. It is nothing to be done immediately. That's not what you do in business. There will be a short-term reaction. We're seeing it in the markets already. I'll preempt you on your other questions. And that is how a market reacts. You go down Wells Market on a Saturday and there's no cabbages, and one bloke's got cabbages, they're going to be dearer.
Yeah, or if you go down the market and it's pouring with rain, people don't go and spend money, isn't it?
Well, welcome to England.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is that nervousness, isn't there? That the markets this morning are going to take a massive hit. The pound's at its lowest since 1985. Those make big headlines. Those make people nervous. People with stocks and shares and things like that. I
know, yeah, and those people with stocks and shares. I saw George Soros, who obviously had made certain arrangements, doing a great big system on how we got to remain. That's marvellous. He made billions out of our Black Friday. These people are sat there making money out of it. Normal, ordinary people working in the street, the people I spoke to, rolling their sleeves up, they will just get on with it and life will go on.
Ernie, thank you for your time.
Thanks,
this
Emma.
Morning. Ernie Warrender there, business owner from Weston-super-Mare, former UKIP parliamentary candidate as well, with his thoughts. He was described as a cast iron lever, so giving his thoughts and offering perhaps some reassurance this morning. If, like Anne in Longwell Green, you're feeling that this is a disaster, Ernie was trying to reassure you. How do you feel this morning? Has the UK made the right decision? 81333 to text me. Start your text with the word Bristol, or pick up the phone 0345 905 949.